never see it. In the second part.
Jo. De var stängda. Ja.
Yay, we can start! I was here an hour ago, so please don't blame the Luna. Blame the technical difficulties of the Buckaroonies. And, well, not you guys, you know, the important high, organizer stuff. They've been messing me around all over the place, so I've seen like a lot of doors. There's a lot of doors in this crazy area. So let's start before the cosplay show starts. So my name is Yami. I am from Sweden. Not from Sweden? Yeah! Hey, Sweden! And I started cosplaying 15 years ago, but not with this. I mean, I started out and everyone else, and I was my OC Sailor Scout. Ooh, it was not pretty. But I was happy, and my grandmother helped me sew the costume, and I was hooked. I mean, all my money goes into costumes, so beware, cosplayers. You will have no money left once you started. And sometimes I cosplay girls. Sometimes. And sometimes I cosplay guys. But it was until 4 years ago I decided to do a bit different. And I cosplay monsters. And that was actually when I think I went from ordinary cosplayer to a pro cosplayer, when I get invited for conventions or work for video game companies as Capcom, BioWare, Blizzard and stuff like that. So usually what I do as my work is take commissions, go to big conventions and help them guys. Help for example, with my Witch Doctor one, I was at the Diablo release party. Just like looking pretty and scaring people. That's the best. So, and this is my last one. The Shed Fluttershy one. That is around 1 month old, so I also have my angel and my chainsaw. And I won best props for that one. So, and the best reaction was like, oh my god, what have you done to Angel? And I'm like, sorry. So, but there's 3 stuff. Before you start any cosplay, there's 3 really important stuff. Sometimes I break these. I don't call them rules. I call them guidelines, but I break them all the time. So,
they're more like guidelines.
Yeah. And the sad one, the budget. Because cosplayers, they put a lot of money. I mean, even if it's the basic costume, you're like, it will cost like $20 or something, and then it's like, oh, the wig, oh, the lenses, oh, and shoes. And then you see like all the money you put into it, and like, oh, yeah, kind of over budget. But for example, when I do a cosplay, I usually start with a wig because you have to have a wig. Or if you have your real hair, perfect, it will be cheaper. So try to like start with the cost of the wig, the lenses, and the shoes. Start with that one and put some money on that. And always prioritize quality over quantity. You don't want that cheap looking fabric that really like starts to rip in the seams if you start to sew on it. Take the better one, and often it's the cheaper one. When I looked for my coat, I actually saw a really expensive fabric. And I was like, it's too much, it's too much. And I saw this one in like the bargain, where you buy bargain in kilos or stuff like that. So I was like, oh, that works fine. So take your time and do your research. And if you see something, don't taste it, like take your time. If you don't find the perfect fabric one day, maybe next day you will find the perfect one, because there will always be that perfect fabric waiting for you. It's like when girls get their wedding dresses. You know when the dress is perfect, and you know when the fabric is perfect.
That's the time that guys was hot.
Yeah. And also try to make a budget for all of the costume parts. Like how much can I put on fabric, how much can I put on thread, because thread costs money. I'm sorry, it costs money. And also do your research. Have a reference picture with you, and often the people working at the fabric store, they're happy to help you because they want to sell stuff for you. So don't be afraid like showing your crazy pony cosplay. Because they will, oh, that's very exciting. Can I help you with that? And you're like, yeah, sure. So they will help you. And as I said, always be picky. If you don't think it's the right material, just leave it and give it some days. And maybe you will find it perfect. Time. We don't want to finish our costume at the hotel the night before. I styled his wig the night before, so guilty. Check your schedule. How much free time do you have? When I start a costume, I actually make a schedule. Like, I have 1 month until like, yeah, it's perfect because you make a schedule of your work, of your like practice if you go to any special like football practice or whatever, or music class. So if you have like 4 hours each day, then you have to like, oh, maybe I can't make that giant mecha suit. Maybe I can make something smaller with a mecha suit. Like maybe half armor instead of full armor, because that takes less time. And the schedule, I think, start as early as possible. If it's like 6 months, why not? And it's always something that, like, you get sick or delayed, or anyone is like, well, can't you come to GalaCon? And you're like, oh, that I lose a week on my costume, but is it worth it? Yeah. Do you have a backup plan? If everything beeps out, well, you have to have a backup plan. I mean, when you start a costume and you see all the parts like, oh my god, this looks so awesome, then you try it on, like, it's too small. It's too small. So have a backup plan, like, if everything, yeah, have a backup plan. Also cut ideas that doesn't work and make new ones. This happens to me every single costume I make. Because when I made this Luna, my fabric choice was actually to make the dress, like everything that's blue, purple. So I bought the most beautiful purple fabric. And then it was not elastic. So, and girls with forms and non-elastic fabrics, it was a sad side. So I think it was like 5 days ago, I had actually go and buy new fabric. And I planned this costume for long, so, and it's okay to cry. If anything is wrong and you feel like your world is going upside down, just cry. I usually do this, cry for an hour, then you start working again. Yeah, I do that on every costume, and I actually have the worst history when I did my Dead Master one. I bought like this shiny latex fabric, and I was like, oh, I will look so awesome. Made a costume, put it on, and like, I look like a garbage bag. A black garbage bag. So, but it worked out because then my props were shiny and my costume were non-shiny because I used like ordinary cotton. So it looks much better. So sometimes good ideas come from really bad mistakes. This is really important, I think, because I see a lot of cosplayers going with like really big costumes at cons, and they're like sweaty and they're really feeling awful. Try to plan your costume. When will you wear it? I mean, yeah. But you're a furry. You have a heart of gold. So, yeah. Furries are more than cosplayers. They're like, oh. I don't know how you do it. So, for example, I really wanted big Luna wings. I was like, I'll make them 2 meters. And I was like, but I have to take the airplane. Oh. And then I was like, but I will make this huge armor. And I was like, but I will host a panel. And there's people everywhere. So I would be like, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And like hitting people, and I won't be as, like, I can't move. And it's the same, I don't have my gloves on. Or my armor here, because I want to be something else. So always try to plan. If you're going to a convention, maybe you shouldn't make it way too big. Make it perfect. Photo shoot? Well, you can have like a big armor because that's a photo shoot. You're only going to wear it to take photos with your friends. So the friends that are not cosplaying, they will be carrying your shit. If you go to a cosplay competition, maybe some of you are going to MCM? Yeah, MCM London. And this is really important. When you go to a cosplay competition, there will be judges. And especially for MCM, these judges are really like top-notch. They will look inside of your seams, so make sure if you going to be judged, like really try to look inside of your costume because they will lift and they will tug your costume. So maybe make it more detailed and less big. If you're going to a disco or a party or Somerset celebration, maybe you shouldn't bring your fursuit.
No, technically, I can see this guy from like the state.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah,
he was
sweating that thing.
So, well, if you're going to a disco party, maybe you can, and also because if you have big wings, I wanted to bring my Fluttershy to Somerset, but that is the problem. I can't bring it because I know I will hit into people and I want to dance. So you see how practical versus non-practical, small versus big, how much preparation do you need to wear it? Some costumes are really easy, especially if you're cosplaying guys. It's like basic makeup, some pants on, a wig, giant sword, finished. But if you're cosplaying girls, and this also includes like guys cosplaying girls and stuff like that, there's a lot of time, and body paint, that is a real hassle. When I do my witch doctor one, it usually takes like 6 hours, because it's 3 layers of paint. So have some extra time. I was actually up 6 this morning to get started on just like the makeup and stuff. And please plan your cosplay because you will feel so much happier. I mean, you can wear fursuit to a disco if you want to, but like our fursuiter, he has planned for it, so he knows what to do. So, and I would like everyone cosplaying Pinkie Pie. Some version, please stand up. Yay! This is the deal. People tell me all the time, like, why are you cosplaying ponies? That is so not cool. And I'm like, dude, go away. And they're like, what is the difference between a pony cosplay and an ordinary cosplay? Well, if you have an ordinary cosplay, let's say Cloud from Final Fantasy, because everyone knows it. It's like easy. You look at the costume and then you make it. When you get this, it's a bit harder to make that into a costume for a human. So that is why I love the pony cosplayers, because we can add so much stuff into our costumes. It's not just take a reference picture like, this is what I made. Because we can like, that, I will make that. When I told my mom that I was making Luna, she was like, you're making a horse? And I'm like, yeah. So that's why I love pony cosplays. I made Fluttershy and Luna, and for Crystal Fair in Finland, I will make Chrysalis. With like 2 meter long wings, because then we can take the boat! We can take the boat, everyone!
Streamers!
Yeah. Let's see. And when I choose a character, usually a pony character, this is kind of weird, but I do it. I usually go to like, which one does she resembles? Like Luna, I was like, she resembles Diana from League of Legends, and like Leona, and... But that is my version. So when I thought of Pinkie Pie, I was like, Chibi Moon. And I was like, why do I think of Chibi Moon? What's wrong with me? This picture. That is from Super Sailor Moon. So that is like, oh, that is why I thought of Chibi Moon. Because of that picture. Because of the balloons and like the black circus and everything. So I think that's really helping you out. If you're thinking about the pony cosplays, think about anime, manga, or video games like League of Legends, for example. So it's easier to really like, okay, I'm going to transport this pony into a human. Because the game developers has already done this for you, so it's easier. I have some ideas. I was like, if I'm going to make a pony costume, how do I do it? Well, I usually go around with different ideas. Like, I would like to make Pinkie Pie. Well, this is my first version, like a pretty dress, a lot of sparkle, kind of like if you're going to a New Year's Eve party, like really want to spice it up because she's the party princess. Kind of like, you know, Sweet 16 parties in the US. Kind of like that. That was my first version. Then, Decora from Japan with a lot of different stuff going on because pink is everywhere. And also the Club Kid Raver, the classic one, because she's going to parties and stuff. And also, what makes Pinkie like the most thing that I really want to put into my costumes? balloons. Balloons, I like balloons. Could you put these balloons into material? Of course you can, and this works with everything. I mean, if you're making chrysalis, you're like, okay, she's like some kind of larva queen changing, circling stuff. I will make some small changeling around her, maybe. Just something that feels like you can add stuff to your costume without just being like a plain one. Add a lot of stuff. And here, this is from Victoria's Secret Fashion Show, which is one of my favorite shows for inspiration for costumes. I recommend everyone to watch it just because they have so crazy ideas. And it's actually one of the ones who makes the giant wings at the Victoria's Secret Show. She's a really famous cosplayer from the US. So, where do I want to photo shoot my sweet pink? Well, if I did some of the club kids cosplay, maybe a club environment, because that kind of fits. If you're going for the sweetie Pinkie Pie, like party, like cute children Pinkie Pie, maybe a super pink party, like set up some tables, buying some pink stuff, and let's talk about wigs. We love and we hate wigs. I started using wigs, I think it was like on my third or fourth costume, and I did buy really, really bad wigs. They cost like 60 pounds and was like this huge mess of ball. Yeah, it was a madness. Have anyone here cosplayed from Vocaloid? Have you seen Miku? You know her hairline? Yeah, with the long pigtails. That is a mess because it will look perfect like 5 seconds, and then when you go out in the wind, it's like bald. So these are some things you can look in when looking at a wig. I usually buy all my stuff from eBay because I want to save on cost, and I buy from China. And if you want, maybe like, if you buy a wig and you're like, doesn't look like the way I want it, then you modify it. This is actually a blue wig, a blue-based wig, like 10 pounds, and then I put 5 other purple wigs that I slaughtered and sew them into the wig. Because that will be much cheaper than buying those pre-styled wigs for like 60 pounds. Style it yourself, and I mean, if it goes to like, yeah, you did a mistake with it, you learn. That's how you get really good in cosplay. You have to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you won't grow. So the natural looking wig is the non-shiny wig. I think it looks really good on, well, everything. But some characters I think really look good with a shiny wig. I think when you make, for example, World of Warcraft characters with a lot of bulky armor, with a lot of colors, I think a shiny wig could look pretty cool on that, because that it will match the interface of the costume. The skin top is actually a silicone top that is on top of your head that makes the hairline much easier. It looks more natural, and it doesn't cost any extra. It's like, just look for it in descriptions, like, does it have skin top? If it has, buy it. I did actually buy an extra blue Luna wig, and it was the worst I've ever seen, and I paid actually more for that one than this one, so it went to the cosplay graveyard. Never being used. Lenses. How many here are interested in having lenses? Ooh, ooh, great guys. Or at least trying. I mean, you don't only have to have lenses when you have glasses on. I have lenses, big circle lenses, because they make the eye so big. When I started with costumes, they didn't have these, because these are from Asia. And these ones are only used for the cosmetics. So it's only to look pretty or handsome or whatever you want to portray. They have nothing to do with vision, sadly. Some of these come in prescription, but you have to ask for it. These make the eyes look bigger. They're for boys and for girls and everyone in between. So I really like them. They are often a lot more water in them, which make them more comfortable. So I truly recommend it. You can see on my eye that like there's no white. That is what makes the circle lenses so big. And they're very cheap, like 20 pounds. And in all types of colors. They usually also have patterns, so you can get Hello Kitty or stars. I have diamonds in mine. You can come look closer later if you want to. That is no problem. Then we have these. I started out with these, and these are really, really, they hurt. I mean, after 2 or 3 hours, they hurt. And why these are called crazy lenses? Because they are so unnatural. The circle lenses go into your eye and look very natural. So people are like, oh my god, are you wearing lenses? But with these one, I mean, you can clearly see these. I use these for my night elf, and I can have them like 4 or 5 hours because they're thicker. They're like a piece of paper, and they really hurt. But a few hours of pain is nothing for a cosplayer. So I clearly recommend this if you want to cosplay from anime, manga, or something very unnatural. They are perfect for that. And they are a bit costly. Then we have the most expensive lenses. The sclera lens. These are only available at this store in the US. I have seen like 2 or 3 people with these lenses on. They cost like $200 each. And they are very, very painful because you can manually like, it's like putting in like, oh god. Some of my friends have these, but they can wear it for like 2 or 3 hours. I would say there's Photoshop. So why buy these lenses when you can have Photoshop?
How much do they actually cover? Are they a full round?
Yeah, they're like this big.
So they go on the eyeball?
Yeah, so you have to like, like push it in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's awful.
It's the same, but you can. I saw a picture on YouTube.
Yeah.
If I ever get offered that, I was like,
Yeah, Photoshop, much cheaper, and spend your money on fast food or something. So I clearly recommend that food for cosplay. And these lenses are used in the film industry. That's why they're made. It's from Land of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, all the zombie movies you see. 24 hours later and 20 days later. That is, these companies use theatrical lenses. So they're usually for zombie movies. They're not really for cosplayers. But some cosplayers use them. Makeup. Someone like makeup? Some girls maybe? Some guys? How many guys have makeup on today? Yeah, my apprentice, thank you. How many girls have some makeup on today? Yay! Perfect girls. And why do we have makeup? Well, let's take my assistant for example. He never used makeup. And I was like, if you're coming to me with a costume, you need makeup. And he was like, why do I have makeup? I mean, come on, makeup, no. And this is the deal. We're in cosplay for like 10 hours, and people are taking pictures of us. This is a lifesaver. I mean, I don't think makeup is to make you look pretty or cover your true self. It's because you have to be pictured. Every actor have makeup on. All the guys, Hugh Jackman, Jack Sparrow, because it keeps them fresh. That is what makeup do. I use a BB cream that's moisturizing, so you don't like start to peel. The skin will peel in some hours, and it also helps the skin look natural, not fake, natural. And BB creams are actually from Korea, and they were used actually to treat burn victims because they're so moisturizing. And all of the Korean pop stars, guys, use it a lot because you have to be in front of this TV screen so many hours, and the skin cannot look perfect for so many hours. So the concealer, it's if you have some spots and dark circles around your eyes when you've been up all night gaming a lot or something. I mean, come on. And the power is actually just to get everything like it's in place. And I mean, I know it could be hard, maybe guys like, oh mom, I need to go and buy makeup. Well, go to the makeup store. They want to sell to you, so you just say like, oh, I will be in a theater or taking a professional photo shoot, you know, they will help you. They're very friendly, and they're pretty cute often, like cute guys and cute gals. So I recommend you guys actually to start using it, not to look pretty or whatever, just to take care of your skin at conventions, because there's a lot of stuff in the air, and the makeup helps the skin protect from that. Then we have the advanced makeup. I have a friend in Germany called Ova. He's cosplaying Pinkie Pie. He actually colored his beard pink.
Oh yeah.
And he's a good friend, but I mean, you can't say that guy doesn't look awesome. He looks perfect. And he used makeup, a lot of makeup. If you want a natural eyeshadow, you can put like maybe some light brown or maybe some gold just to make your eyes sparkle. Even as a girl or as a boy. Mascara will actually make your lashes look longer, so you look more boyish or more cute. Eye pencil will make your eyes look bigger, and you don't have to like make the really big lines like the girls do, guys, if you want to, but make a small line. Eyelashes, well, they will also enhance your eyes. If you're having circle lenses and you really want to be cute or handsome, the eyelashes is a must to make that perfect look. Any questions? You're like, oh my god. And as I've said before, everyone can cosplay, everyone should cosplay. I don't care how you look, how you're acting, just cosplay. Because no one has the right to tell you, well, you can't cosplay that, you can't cosplay that. Cosplay is for everyone. That is the deal. I mean, people have told me really nasty stuff. Like, well, you can't cosplay males. Why not? Especially my witch doctor one. Everyone was like, but that's a legendary set that's for male and you have boobs. And I'm like, yeah, but I like the mask better. So if you like a version better, do it. Or maybe like do 5 ponies in one costume. Why not? I've seen that before, like do it. Yeah, and also gender bend. Do a lot of gender bends. That's the newest thing. Some years ago in cosplay, there was no one doing gender bend, like girls cosplaying males and blah, 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 blah. So if you want to gender bend, like gender bend Pinkie Pie, well, make him manly or make him cute. That is okay now, but I wasn't brought up with that. It was like, you have to really do the picture, but now the cosplay world is changing into a better, so everyone can costume. And please don't be afraid to like really mess up. It's good, I do it all the time. All the time. On every single costume, but you learn. And I would say, a lot of people are like, well, you have to buy those really expensive cosplay materials, like Vorbla or Wonderflex. I don't work with that. I work with craft foam, like yoga mats. That works for me. So I would say start just hot glue gun and some Eva foam. You can build anything. And if you're not good with sewing, just try. Just try it. I mean, you don't have to make like a huge costume with like tons of fabrics and stuff, because I don't do that. I like armor. I'm not the best like sitting in the sewing machine. I don't like that. I like building stuff, like big stuff. The shorter the better, so. Yeah?
Like, for example, where did you get those arm bands?
These?
Yeah, the shoulder bands.
This is craft foam. I made everything, so.
Oh.
And this is my sword. And I have my gauntlets and stuff, but it's too warm.
Just shake the foam. It's the same to use like an egg.
Yeah, the heat gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I use like, you know, those cheap ones. You don't have to buy expensive stuff. Yeah, and then you like, you heat it, and then you form it like on a friend or a non-friend. Yeah.
Just use a hairdryer.
Yeah, you can use a hairdryer, of course. And it's a lot of tutorials, because people were asking me like, will you style a wig? Will you build armor? And I'm like, no. That's a lot of tutorials. Just search on YouTube, like wig styling. I'm like, oh, 10,000 views. And armor making, of course. So there's a lot of tutorials. Don't be afraid to use them, because people have made them that they want to share.
Do you like bananas?
Actually, I don't, because I'm allergic to every fruit available except watermelon and bananas. So everyone's like, take a banana! And I'm like, no. Someone in the back? Yes?
For one with particularly sensitive eyes, might it be possible to compensate for an inability to use lenses?
Yes, of course. Photoshop. I mean, you can't do anything at conventions. Oh, I have a warning story about the lenses. Good that you took it. When I was at the convention, one of the girls like, oh my god, I love your costume. How did you make the lenses? And I was like, nah, you know, you buy them. And she's like, oh, I want to use food color in my eyes. Oh, and I was like, no, please don't, please, please, please. So never try anything like weird stuff like, I read it on Reddit, so it better be true. No. If you can use lenses, use lenses. And if you want to, of course. I don't think it's a must, because there's Photoshop, so you don't have to. And it takes time to like practice with lenses. Everyone who uses lenses for normal. It takes me like 1 hour just to get these on, because I don't use lenses. And you will be kind of half blind if you have the cosmetic lenses, because I can't see anything, but I look pretty. So the thing you can do, if cosmetic lenses, stay in front of the mirror and pose. Because when a photographer will come, you can like remove the glasses really fast and put them down and then you put the glasses on. That's usually how my friends do it because they're blind. They don't see anything. They're like, are you Yami? And they're like grabbing a random guy and I'm like, no, that's not me, bro. So, and I think also posing is very important. Oh, cute.
Aren't there cosmetic lenses with correction?
Yeah, some of them are. Yeah. So I mean, it's possible to find them and check the price. If they cost like £2,
Yeah.
if you need like tips on buying cosmetic lenses, I know a perfect site. It takes like 1 week from Korea. They're like licensed to sell lenses, and I've used them for like 6 years. It costs like $20. And they also have some special effects lenses, things like Hitachi and Leonardo and blah blah blah. Some of those. So that is really good. And wigs, just surf on eBay because I never buy from the same seller because I want it cheap. So I can sit up in the middle of the night and buying a wig for like $10. Like, oh yes, I want it, and it's like shipping. Oh, $10. So there's no rules in that. And if you have any questions, just PM me or tweet me or follow me or email me or I will be here until Monday, so I can't answer until I arrive home to Sweden when I have my big computer because I just have my crappy Wi-Fi in the hotel, So that is better. Yeah. You know how it is, Staying at a hotel. So. Any questions? Yeah.
With the backup dresses or backup whole cosplay idea, would you recommend having a different idea from your initial idea? So, for example, if you're starting off with a living costume, but then suddenly you felt like horribly wrong, which you didn't.
Yeah.
Then would you recommend having a different one rather than because I don't know, like different inspirations?
Yeah, because that happens a lot. Like if let's say your wings doesn't fit, then you have to change the coat or the underskirt or you have to be really prepared for anything. And that's also why I like you to make a schedule. Because then you have some time, maybe like a week before the con. Do that as your panic week, when everything is finished, but maybe you have to do some changes. Because that happens a lot when you put on stuff and you're like, oh Jesus, my arms, they're bigger than I thought. Or like, if you put something on your arms, and you're like, this looks cool, and then you bend it like, oh shit. Because you must be able to move. If you're not going to a photo shoot, because then you can look whatever. It's only you're the photographer. So really try to move in your costumes. Because that's happened to me a lot when I make something and it's like, looks perfect, and I'm like, oh God, I gained a pound or anything. Like, no, God.
Try that.
So do a backup plan, but if everything gets messed up, deal with it. You will. There are a lot of cosplayers who do this every single time at conventions. You're not alone.
For like big props, because I've already planning what I'm doing next year. Big props, should I just use foam maybe and put them down?
Yeah, I just use foam. If you want something like, for the wings, I used VBS pipes, like really cheap, cost like £1 in the hardware store of electrician stuff. But you can use wood, but remember, it will be heavy. That's why I don't use wood, because I'm not like the strongest girl around, so I can't like walk around with like...
Stick a 5-foot sword.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. You?
I was, wings really. It's making wings work. If you're going to make wings and you want them to open and close,
Yeah.
would you do that?
There's a lot of screws on that. I think some have made electricity ones. But there could be a problem actually with making stuff in metal because the security. You can get security on yourself. So I think make something out of wood maybe or plastic, like VBS pipes and stuff you use like that. But there's a lot of tutorials on the web.
How did you make your
This VBS pipes like this, like a square, and then it's like actually the pipes, and then it's some barbed wire because I'm from Sweden, so I have to travel here with the bag, so I can like push them into the bag and then bend the feathers, and then it's just wrapped. was actually my friend over there, who is my assistant. He was like, have you watched Little Pony? I'm like, oh, okay. And I watched like half of the first season. I was like, nah. And then I was making a costume. And I always have some music on or some show on. You know how it is. You want something on, but nothing interesting. And I found myself like looking from my sewing machine to my computer screen, like, what am I doing? I'm like, fuck the sewing machine, and put it down, and I actually started to watch the show. And then my friends were like, oh my god, they're bronies, because they're hardcore bronies. So I was like, okay, maybe I need some guidelines, so they helped me. It was that easy. And because I love, well, I've been a My Little Pony fan since I was a kid, so I love the horses, and I love just, because cosplay is such a big deal for me, so when I saw My Little Pony, I was like, there's no end of the possibilities. You can make so much with a freaking pony. So I was like, oh, this is the gold mine for me. This would be so awesome, because I can finally do whatever I want, and not just, oh, you're from Final Fantasy. Yeah, and you have to look exactly like this really skinny girl. And I was like, I'm a pony. And no one can actually say like anything to me, because...
Sorry, Cecilia.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many other pony cosplays have you done?
I've done Shed. That is the one, and it's because, I mean, it was just 6 months ago, and when I planned my cosplay year, I planned for next year. So I can't like, oh, tomorrow I will do a pony cosplay, because I don't have time for the money. It costs way too much money. So I started six months ago being a Brody, but then it was like, which character should I choose? And I'm also making original Fluttershy, because I made the Shed one. So I want to make the original one, but as a goddess version. Because when I see her as the goddess of Venus. From, if you watch Sailor Moon, there's a huge, pretty artwork of Sailor Venus, like flapping herself, and she has long hair, looking pretty. So I was like, that is Fluttershy. That is my version of Fluttershy. So it's in the making. I don't know when to wear it, because there's no brony cons in Sweden. La 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 la. Yeah. And if I had more space, maybe I could bring something else in my bag, but I don't have any space. No, I have like maybe some room for my panties. That's it. So no more things. You?
Two things. There actually is a Brony contest in Sweden. Göteborg.
No.
Who?
But it was cancelled. That was yeah. I was invited as a guest, and then they were like, I never got any information. Yeah, that's so sad. I know, because I wanted really to go, and I was like, this will be so hype, and then they didn't get enough funding. So. But I'm going to Finland next year, so it will be a boat trip with all my brony friends to Finland, because it's really cheap just going over, from Sweden to Finland. It's really cheap. So.
And just wanted to ask, how did you get your friend's hair to stick up that long?
It's actually, I had so many ideas. I actually had an idea of doing Twilight, like original Twilight, but I was like, Luna. So I bought actually a very cheap Twilight wig. I think everyone buys this way. And I bought 2 products. I can maybe about, but it's got to be.
Yeah.
I think it's like in ordinary stores. It's a yellow bottle. So it's first a hairspray, and then it is some gel thing, wax. Cost maybe like £8 each, and that's what usually all the professional cosplayers are using for wig styling. So I started like doing this. If this is a wig and this is my comb, I do like this all the time, so it gets like really messed up, and then it started to get some shape, and then you like put the hairspray and like form it. So first you need to fluff it good. Then you can do it like that. So it took some time, but I think it worked out. I have no idea how it will stay in place during our travel home to Sweden, but who cares? We're here for bucks, so. You?
What do you do with the cosplay once you use that invention?
Well, I have them at home, and my entire home is filled with them. Some of them I feel are more precious to me, like my witch doctor one. That's really like biggest heart. So I have it on my wall. So when people walk in, like, nice. And I have my Shed chainsaw on my computer stacked in a corner, and My angel, I will put her up also, but usually I put stuff in the basement because you have so much stuff, you can't have them on display. So, and all the fabrics you can like, if you have a costume, let's say you have Itachi, I have Itachi, and you want to put it away, just put everything including the Itachi costume in a bag and then put it in a box. So you know easy where to get it if someone wants to shoot it or you want to rewear it. Just pack it.
Do you have a way your cosplays like act? Because I know someone who wears them outside.
Oh, how I go to conventions and stuff?
No, outside conventions. Just.
I just wear mine.
Yeah.
If someone has questions, it's usually like, oh, what are you dressing up like? It's not Halloween. And I'm like, I'm going to a masquerade. There you have it. And if you want people engaged, you just tell them like, oh, I'm from the My Little Pony convention, blah, 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 blah. So you can choose. Either you go the easy way, like, I'm going to a friend's masquerade, or you can go the hard way and really try to make them understand what you're doing. And if you're going like, maybe somewhere there's not safe to go, maybe you can take some of the things off. Just for safe. You never know. I mean, there's strange people out there.
Idiots who.
Yeah. The normal people. They are, I mean, I'm not afraid of like bronies or whatever. Anime convention, it's normal.
They're normal. We're more than normal.
I prefer to call them socially accepted.
I don't like the normal ones. Those are the ones actually I have most problem with because they will like if you say something wrong to them, they will pick a fight because you're just in costume because they think you're dressing up for them. That is what most people tell me, like, oh, you're dressing up because you want attention. No, I'm dressing up for me. I want to look this way. I don't care what you think. So that could be something to think about. Like, okay, people think that I'm doing this for them, but I'm not. So maybe I should treat them like their kids. That's usually what I say. Treat them like their kids. Just, I'm going to masquerade, and if they say something hurtful, just walk away. It's not worth it. I mean, they could really actually break your costume if they want to. One of my friends actually in Sweden, he was beaten up. He was growing, and he has no idea what happened. It just, and they think it's because he was growing. So pick your fights. Pick your fights, people. Don't mess with costumes.
There was a live from last year that there were some people who were taking guard stuff to the convention, but on the way some people got in the van and beat them up and took some of the artwork.
Yeah, I've heard people like stealing stormtrooper outfits also, like a costume-made stormtrooper. That is really a lot of money. So, and also if you want to be safe, people often ask me like, oh, you want me to put away your props? Just because you're going somewhere, just to be on the safe side, always carry them with you. Because you never know what happens. Maybe that guy you talk to, he is awesome, but maybe there's someone that is not as awesome as him, that are like stealing props because they like it, or take care. I usually say that all my props and my costume are my babies. These are my babies, and you better like, don't mess with my babies. I put so much time on these, so I love them so much. So be careful. Is it time?
Yes.
Oh, it's time! It's time! If any one of you wants my card with my email on, just come to me and I will give you my cards. It's my costume card, so you can contact me easier without like going into different websites and stuff. Yay! Time to get some food, and then I see you at the cosplay show.